So for you guys, I mean, biggest loss margin of the year was last time against these guys against Florida a couple months ago. Um, when looking back at this game, what do you remember about that? What have you guys talked about in reference to that game to make sure kind of that doesn't happen again?
Well, I remember last time we stayed with them pretty well in the first half. We had a not too bad of a we weren't too far behind them, but the second half we kind of went away from our sets and running our plays, and we couldn't finish possessions with rebounds, and that kind of hurt us. We've talked a lot about how they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country, and maybe lower on the defensive rebounding rating, but really just finishing like defensive possessions off with rebounds is going to be a really big key tomorrow for sure.
Robbie? Hey, Drew, I know you guys sort of just have your defensive system and offensive system that you go with, but, to some extent, does it change at all, like when they have Castleton this time around, who's, one of the best centers in the country? I mean, is it just kind of the same, or how, if at all, does that change what you guys got to do defensively?
I don't think it'll change too much. I mean, they had Jatobo last time. Jatobo's out this time, but they still guard pin downs the same. They still guard ball screens pretty similarly. This time we have Liam back too. So we have another big post presence. So I don't think it really changes our game plan too much. We just need to make sure that we, stress out the single side ball screens and really hit the open guy. But I think our plan stays pretty similar to last time for sure.
Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Drew. Q was saying on Saturday that he felt like, at least for him, that you guys were just a couple minutes away from getting wins, just 2 minutes here or there. Is that kind of the way you feel as well?
That's definitely true. If I remember correctly, on Saturday, I think they went on a big run, and early in the first half, and we kind of had to fight back at the end of the first to stay with them at halftime. So just eliminating those kind of lapses in judgment for 2 or 3 minutes, I think will really help us. It's a lot easier to play when you're 2 or 4 points down rather than 8 or 9. So just trying to keep that difference very small and just staying with it till the last few minutes, I think will help us. It also puts less stress on Scotty to go score, 6 points in 2 possessions to try to get us back in. So that'll be a big emphasis, just finishing rebounds, finishing plays, and trying to stay with them.
Justin?
Drew, you've been like in and out of the lineup, don't play for a couple games, then come in and step in. Miles Studi's now coming off the bench for you guys, and he struggled a little bit the last couple games shooting the ball. What do you do to kind of stay ready in the moment and, be ready to step back onto the floor? And have you talked with him at all about that, considering his roles changed so drastically?
I probably should talk with him more, but I feel like he's very capable of doing it. It's just, it's really not a physical thing. I mean, it's all kind of a mentality. It's what I've been focusing on, just having the same aggression as a starter would have when you go in. I think some other guys struggle with that too. I know, Shane and Gabe and all these guys who maybe play limited minutes for now, I think could definitely, change their mindset a little bit just to get going earlier. It's not like I'm doing anything special. I just kind of listen to what coach is saying and try to apply it to the game. But I don't see any reason why, Miles or any of those guys shouldn't be able to do that. And I think they definitely will improve that in this next game, hopefully. But yeah, just really just keeping an aggressive mentality on the benches is kind of the key.
Drew, appreciate your time, man. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks, Drew.
Thank you.
Plus loss of the year was against these guys last time. I guess, what have you guys focused on a lot, kind of looking back at that game going into this one so that doesn't happen again?
Well, again, I mean, each game have a life of its own. I didn't think we played particularly well. I mean, probably Scotty's worst output of the season. He got in foul trouble early. Thought we did a good job of holding it together while he was out, that first half. And then he came back and was pressing a little bit in that second half. So really indicative of who we've been and how we played for the most part. And I think we had a pretty sound game plan going into that game, and we just got to execute as most. I think we do a good job of executing for 70-80% the game. We got to find a way to push it to 90 to 95%. I think that's the difference in our wins and losses. I mean, we do a lot of things right, but just need to finish it off a little bit better.
Avi?
Hi, Stack. Since they have Castleton back now, when he plays, do you see a difference from their guards? How does having him in the lineup maybe make their guards better?
I think he ignites their transition game. His ability to block shots and his ability to alter shots allows for probably some them to get some rebounds and really get out. I think Appleby is really at his best when he's in transition. I mean, they really thrive off of live ball turnovers and his ability to change shots at the rim. So I mean, yeah, of course they throw the ball inside to him. I think they're probably number one in the league, and probably post touch as he is. So they try to get the ball to him when he's down there. So I mean, he's a load down there, but I think they're shooting the three ball really well right now. So I think that's a concern of ours. Even though he's very capable on the block, I think us being able to still give him some resistance on the block, but get out to their shooters is going to be the key to the game.
Dustin?
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Miles Studi. Since Liam's taken over in that starting spot, I think he's only taken 15 shots in the last couple of games. I know he's a guy you want shooting the ball. From a player's perspective, how tough can it be late in the season to change a role that drastically? And then kind of from a game plan perspective, what do you guys have to do to really get him going again?
Yeah, I mean, we need for Miles to make shots, but I think his focus has to be more on the defensive end and rebounding. I mean, that's more of what we need from him. Yeah, it's great to score points, but we need to finish off our defensive possessions, and his lack of rebounding has been more the change as opposed to anything else. I think he's capable, very capable, and then and to fairness to him, he's been dealing with an ankle injury. So I mean, those things throw him off a little bit. You could be when you're a shooter like that, and it's your rhythm. You can have a pinky finger or anything like that, and it can throw you off a little bit, and it takes a little bit of time to adjust. But and I just think as far as the games go right now, we're not set on starting both bigs. It just was, Mississippi State was the game that made a lot of sense for us to match up against Brooks and who was that? Tulu Smith, right? But now when DeRuggi didn't even play last game. Where I think he's still kind of a game time decision. I don't know if he would play if they decide to go smaller like they did with Fleming and those guys. Then we may match up and go a little bit small as well. I would love to keep a bigger body on Castleton anyway, and kind of stagger, Q and Liam, at the 5. So it's just kind of a game-to-game decision, depending on who we're playing, that we try to adjust. And the same thing really with that 2 spot. It's just kind of who's playing well. I mean, you wish you could kind of find a perfect combination of Drew Weikert and Tyron Lawrence, what Tyron brings to us on the defensive end, and the savvy and the shot making that Drew brings on the offensive end. Finding that perfect combination would be good. Maybe it's finding a way to just kind of play offense and defense with those guys. When you get a defensive possession, Tyron, run to the table and get Q, and we just live with it for a few minutes until we get to an offensive possession again, and we can get Drew back in there. So I just think that's just kind of the way we're rolling right now. We got to find that other contributor. I mean, I think no matter what you do, we had a great opportunity. Tyron had a great look there at in that second half to the last 2 minutes to take the lead. I mean, it's a shot that he's capable of making, but again, it's probably just his confidence isn't there right now. We got to find a way to get him a little bit more confident. But Drew, gives us everything he has. Even when he gets a mismatch, he gets in there and sticks his nose in there. Picked up a couple of offensive, fouls on guys that's trying to post him and doing different things like that. So it's just, but I think our bigger guys, Liam and Jordan. I mean, we, in a big game like that, just can't go 1 for 5, with 3 points in 20 minutes. Especially when our focal point is we know that they were going to try to attack us and just to stay down without fouling. So I just think our attention to detail from Liam's standpoint wasn't great that game. I'm looking for him to be a lot better tomorrow night. Jordan wasn't good in the first half. He was better in the second half. So it's just, again, getting those that second and third contributor. I thought, Scotty was great. Q was solid. Again, he had some mistakes defensively, but we all did. So I just think it's just a matter of us keep plugging away, trying to find the right combinations. Chief Frank is, he's trending up. He's doing a lot of good things for us. Offensively and defensively, now that he's not having to play the five. I mean, we really put him in a bad way to showcase who he could be for us by having him at the backup five while Liam was out. But now that he can slide back over to the four, he's a guy that I feel very comfortable switching 1 through 4 with, because he can sit down and guard smaller players more so than maybe a Miles can. So it's good to have that versatility, but it's tough with it being late in the season and then trying to figure it out. So, but Gabe Dorsey, he came in and made a shot for us. He's a guy that's capable as well. Shane Dezzoni, he shows some flashes, but he comes in and mistakes happen, and then you have to get back. You got to try to give our starters a little bit of rest. So I'm looking at trying to stagger those guys a little bit more. I would love to try to keep 2 of those 4 on the floor at all times, either with Scotty, Jordan, Q, and Liam. Right? I try to, always have at least 2 of those guys on the floor. So that's something that I'm going to look at it at these next 2 games and hopefully the rest of the tournament.
Robbie?
Yeah, so in terms of, it may not matter, but it's possible. I know that you guys have 1 non-conference game left and you need to be, 500 or more to play in the postseason. Is it possible that you guys add a non-conference game here in the last week of the regular season?
Probably not. I don't think that's realistic for us. Again, we're, we kind of got approval to do that, but I think for us is just to try to take care of our business with these next 2 games, go into the tournament. I think it's kind of nobody necessarily wants to play on the first day. And it's kind of you showing what kind of season you have. But I wouldn't mind the first day. It means we got a chance to get an extra game. So, but I think we want to give ourselves an opportunity to do something that we hadn't done in these first 2 years, and that's finish the regular season with a winning record, and we got an opportunity to do that and can kind of control our own destiny without having to add a game or do anything else. So, and I think if we do that, then that puts us, takes us out of the first day and opportunity to go there, relax a day, and get ready for business. Because I don't think we fear anybody in this league that we can't, go in and have a game plan and we can beat if we bring the physicality and we take care of the ball. I mean, that's it. I mean, that second part of that first half, we were 9 for 10 just, from the field. So it showed our offense worked. It just didn't work when we were, making careless turnovers and allowing them to run the other way.